Welcome, everyone, to episode 132 of Rangers Ed, presented by Lucarelli Law. If you're in Florida and need a lawyer, call Lucarelli Law and tell them the boys at Rangers Ed sent you. This is Cousin Ed, and that was me not missing the puck, Coach, at the gender reveal. So for those of you that don't follow me, and some of you do and already know, my wife is pregnant. She's 5 months today, so officially halfway, the 20-week mark. She's watching this, and I love you, so thank you for watching. But that was an incredible moment. We got a bunch of friends and family together, whoever could make it. Unfortunately, you guys couldn't come, but you were on the FaceTime or whatever. It was December 21st, so right before Christmas, and I did not know the gender. We actually stuck to it. We had it in the email for like 4 weeks, and neither of us looked at it. The only person who knew was my sister. And I wanted to do a little hockey gender reveal, so we just set up the plywood on the grass, and that was it. So what a moment, and it's going to be a boy, so maybe a future member of this podcast if we're still going by that point. But
and hopefully he'll be arguing with you.
I'm sure he will. I'm just hoping that I
can influence him at all.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that I can keep him a Rangers fan living 10 minutes away from Amerant Bank Arena. But considering the state of the two franchises, and I see Gaza's comment: 2045 first round pick for the Rangers. It'd be 2043, I guess, would be the draft if he plays hockey and is good. So 2043, a year to look forward to. But yeah, what a incredible experience this has been, and I just can't wait. Hopefully the Rangers can make a run, and it'll like coincide with the timing of the birth. So I was kind of hoping they would make a run. I've known since the Utah game, when we all went, so everyone was there. We knew then,
We knew too.
Yeah, well, you guessed, you surmised. I don't know if you knew, but. Yeah, it was like we're doing a cleanse on alcohol. Like, come on.
No, Lindsay was pretty emphatic.
Lindsay knew. Yeah, Lindsay knew. Coach didn't know. He was too busy looking at Lundqvist to pay attention to what was going on with Theo. But just wanted to do like a little formal announcement for those who listen and don't follow. We haven't really posted anything on the podcast page. But it was pretty cool. So I bought a baby blue tape and pink tape, and I taped the stick half and half, and I walked around. I had everybody sign the stick if they thought it was going to be a boy, thought it was going to be a girl.
Oh, cool.
So that was a nice little touch. Obviously, I took a picture of it. It's all erased now.
I guessed right, powder. Just for the record.
You did. There was a lot of guesses for boy, actually. I was surprised. My mom was slick. She signed both because she didn't want to upset the baby one way or the other. She didn't want to sign the wrong one, so she signed both. So it was just amazing, and I can't say enough how excited I am to be a dad, and looking forward to bringing him to the Rangers Panthers Winter Classic next year. It's going to be a great time. So
we were discussing that yesterday. Where is the game going to be? I didn't even notice.
It's at Lone Depot Park, the Marlins Park.
Marlins?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do because most of the parking, if not all the parking there, is garage parking. So they're going to have to set something up for tailgating and events and things like that.
That's how Yankee Stadium is. It sucks.
It's like right on a busy street with businesses across the street and stuff. So I'm not really sure. I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of beach event 15 minutes away or something, and then you're going to have to make your way to the arena. I don't know what they're going to do. But how are you going to keep the ice cold, Coach?
I was talking about that with a couple of people we were having dinner with yesterday. Don't they have a roof on that stadium, retractable?
Yeah, but then you might as well just play it at Amerant Bank Arena. Like, what's the point? It's It's not really an outdoor game, then.
We were thinking the same thing. I mean, how else? What's the temperature down there right now?
Right now, it's probably 70.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they did it in L.A. That's what when this was being teased a couple of weeks prior. They said that they had done it at the Dodger Stadium in L.A. in the Valley.
They did?
Yeah, they had a
remember that.
stadium game. They had a stadium game, not a Winter
Oh,
Classic.
right.
So it's been done. I mean, I'm sure they have it figured out if they're planning it. I would hope.
Well,
we'll
this
see.
year on the 2nd, it was like in the 50s. So that's maybe they can make it work. I don't know. But
Well, I
I
hope
don't know.
so. I mean, they had the issues at Lake Tahoe, but I don't think they were prepared for that with the sun. Hopefully, they learned their lesson this time. But like one of the first ever outdoor games was played in L.A. Gretzky played, didn't he, against the Rangers?
I believe so. Yeah.
So I mean, there's ways to do it. They just got to be prepared this time. You know.
Yeah.
And Tampa's having one as well, right? At their football stadium for the Stadium Series, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're having one. Yep.
But the
I'm
important
gonna
question
guess
is,
that-
are we doing our first ever Rangers Ed road trip for the Winter Classic?
Wait, we haven't done a road trip yet?
Like a sponsored one where like we bring the fans and it's like a whole event, not a sponsored one, but like a promoted one. Like they're still going to, yeah.
Well, Little Ed, I'll say it sounds like you just signed yourself up for that. So if you want to
We
put
got
that
a lot
together,
of, we got a lot of,
Wait a
I'll
minute,
make the
every
trip.
time we do
I'm
something
willing
here,
to make the
Dustin-
trip if we have.
No. Every time we're doing something here, we have to run everything. Now we're doing it in your neighborhood. You have to run it.
Well,
There
I
you
gotta
go.
run it. I gotta run the fans from New York to my
you got to put together,
No,
you
but
got to
you
put
gotta
together a
run
Bad
the
Boy
food.
63.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look into a few things. I want to see if we can get maybe a suite. I think that would be the way to go. Then we can have a head count. You know, we'll see. I put a couple of inquiries in the works. I can't guarantee that, but I'm hoping that we could pull that off because that would be a hell of an experience.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. When this got announced, I got about 20 text messages from people about wanting to go to the game with me. And I don't even have 20 friends, so I don't know how the hell that happened. But but everybody wants to go to the game with me. And I'm like, how are we going to buy 30 tickets next to each other? It's going to be tough. So maybe a suite. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Chris, no, I'm going to the game and my son is going to the game. I don't care. He's got his vaccines. He's got what he needs. Let's go. That's it. And not only that, but I'm going to handwrite a sign for him and make him hold it up against the glass while I get autographs.
Can I get a stick? My first game.
You're my favorite player. He's falling asleep.
He passes his
like-
son to Theo and grabs the stick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to that aspect of it.
He said, Chris says, too busy to set up the group trip. Chris, don't
Oh,
worry.
Chris,
The group trip
he's
is going
right.
to be set up by Little Ed. Let's be real.
Yeah, Chris, a couple things. Number one, you're right. Number two, there's no chance that Little Ed is going to let me set up a group trip and not be involved. And then that would just what would happen is he would get involved and then he'd get annoyed at how poorly I was doing it and just take it over anyway. So we might as well just let Little Ed do it. Right, Coach? He's gonna want to. He's gonna want to do it. So
I have a perfect record, so we might as well keep it going.
yeah. Did you see online all the Devils and Islanders fans how annoyed they are that the Rangers got this Winter Classic game? Neil,
What did you say the Devils fans are?
yeah, Neil at Devil State of Mind. He posted how ridiculous it is that the Rangers are playing in this game, not even like a rival, the Panthers, and I was just laughing.
Who is a rival of the Panthers?
The Lightning.
I guess. I mean, I don't know why. I guess they probably wanted to have two games.
Probably Boston, I would say, is a rival now because the playoffs.
Well, that was the rumor on the internet that I saw that it was either going to be Boston or the Rangers.
Well, let's be real. They had to figure out a way to sell out Lone Depot Park. they can't sell it out unless they have the Rangers there, because now all the New Yorkers are going to travel down. What better trip for you and your family over New Year's than to go from the freezing cold of New York to sunny Miami to enjoy the Winter Classic? I mean, what a perfect setup, right? So it's going to be mostly Ranger fans there.
Plus the fact there's a lot of New York fans down there already.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many
Paul
people-
says
how many people
Devils
is that
fans are among the
stadium
worst in the league. They are. They're so bad. I hate Devils fans, man. You guys are horrible. For those listening, tone it down, man. Jeez. It's crazy. Anyway, how many people? I don't know. Probably. What is
Lone
it? It's a
Depot's
baseball-
37,000.
I was going to say 40. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy. So we'll look into a few things. Keep an eye out for the Rangers Ed road trip if you're interested. DM Little Ed at
Yeah.
Rangers Ed.
Get some feelers. Let me try and get a head count going so we know who's interested at least. Definitely shoot us a message.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll try and get some pricing soon. I don't even know if they're on sale or what to do, but I got a few inquiries out to people about the I think I have to contact the Marlins to get tickets for a suite, or not the Panthers. I'm not sure, but that's what I've been going for here.
We should
All right,
probably
well-
contact our ticket agent, Ed. They might be able to do something.
Yeah, Coach, by the way, I didn't hear from you. What did you think about the reveal? What did you think about the shot? You know, I didn't wind up all the way. I kind of did like a half slapper. I'm surprised you
Yeah,
You're
never
not
but
supposed to
decided-
wind
it
up
was a
all the
ball.
way.
It was a Paul Coffey slapper. It was pretty good form.
It wasn't bad, right? It was pretty good form. Wow, a compliment.
Puck was a
Jeez.
little ahead of you, but we're all right.
It was.
Did
a
you
little
like
ahead
how
of
I
me.
timed the music with the shot?
Yeah, it was perfect. It was
As
really
soon as
good. I
we-
appreciate it.
As soon as Nicky Bazinagol said Rangers, Ed, that's when you hit the puck.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, it came out great. It was just it was wild. I was a little when Rihanna put the puck down, she put it in the center of the plywood, which would make sense, you know, for someone just put it in the center. But I was like, can you move it up a little bit, because the back of the plywood's like right here. My stick might hit the back of the plywood. I wanted to get a lot of ice, you know. I didn't want to just go for the puck. So I'm just kidding. But it was great. Sorry you guys couldn't make it out, but I'm sure you'll make it out here eventually. But all right. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk some Rangers. Coach, we're going to lean on you a little bit here, but before we do that, let's do jersey profiles. And the reason I bring Coach up, Stephane Matteau, number 32. Who else but Stephane Matteau? Coach, how many times have you stalked Stephane Matteau at Madison Square Garden?
I met up with him. Actually, your sister was with me at the game that one
Yeah, I
time.
remember.
Met up with him.
Remember that?
I think Aaron was with me one time, and we met up with him. But just a nice guy. It's just
He's a great
definitely
guy.
a nice ambassador for the Rangers. I was at Game 7, which I've told the story before, against the Devils, that famous goal. And recently, I told you guys before the Devils game the other night, they had a replay of that game on MSG, and I watched it, and it was just just crazy watching it and reliving it. Like I always say to you guys, we got to watch that whole playoff series one time together. I don't know how, but
You have the box
whole
set.
Stanley Cup run. I know, but we should try to get together and watch it or do.
Oh, I
whatever.
thought you meant like physically how, not like scheduling.
No, I have
wise.
the set. Yeah, there he
Check
is.
out I have that
Hall of
too.
Fame, too.
There it is.
We
Check
gave
out.
up our table at the Hall of Fame.
He's not even paying attention, but that's the one. Yeah, remember you tried to get him to sign that book.
I didn't actually try. I think he would have if I did try.
You
but
didn't
I
have it
chickened
with you,
out.
right? I think you
No,
didn't
I
have
had it. We just weren't supposed to ask for autographs at that
Right,
event.
right.
The
We'll get it.
God,
He'll
I
do it.
forgot. I forgot about that potluck thing. I got the Jerome McGinley puck.
Yeah. So if you
It's over there
guys are
somewhere.
listening, if you guys are listening, head on over to YouTube. Check out our picture at meeting Matteau at the at Lundqvist Hall of Fame event last year, and if you're wondering, the story is we all got a chance, right? We all got a puck. Whatever,
Yeah, I
it
got
was
I got a Ginla.
whatever, you paid like $50 and you got to pick, like, all the pucks were upside down and they were all signatures, but you didn't know what they were, so you just randomly pick one. And I picked a Brodeur puck. So we met Matteau again, like, later on at this event, and I wanted to get him to sign the Brodeur puck, but I chickened out and didn't ask him. But we did
What
bring
was
it up
the,
to him and said we had it, but he kind of just like laughed it off. Like, he didn't say like, "Oh, I'll sign it." But yeah.
I think he would do it. But my question is, why was he at the Lundqvist inauguration?
He's just around the Rangers events and stuff, right? I mean, I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, it seemed a little kind of random.
Oh, I know why. So
Why?
I'm going to try to I included on the graphic in the beginning, Little Ed fun fact on the profile, guys, from now on. So in the 1982 Little League World Series, I think that was the year. Little League
World Series. Okay.
Stefan Matteau represented Team Canada with Pierre Turgeon.
No.
It said it on Wikipedia. So I didn't take a deep dive, but it said it on Wikipedia.
How
Oh, so
bad
he
was
was
Team
there for
Canada
Turgeon.
in the
I don't know what
1982
year it was.
World?
Hold on, let me play the video again real quick.
Well,
That
whatever
is
it is, that
hilarious.
means he was a child. He was a childhood friend of his.
Yeah, 1982 Little League World Series with Pierre Turgeon.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
How crazy is that?
that is.
By
insane.
the way, Hank shut out Pierre Turgeon again at the alumni game.
I know. I was loving every second of that.
Turgeon can still play though, man.
Yeah.
He's got.
He's
he
like
can
the
still
only.
skate around.
He's like the only one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to badmouth Shrimpy, but I'm watching the game and I'm like, I want to see Shrimpy turn it on. He was a Wayne
Listen.
Gretzky protege. It looked like he was, as my father would say, it looked like he was skating in sand.
Yeah, they're all
Him
out
and
there having fun.
Brandon Prush looked like he was like 70 years old. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Turgeon's the only one that I saw like flying.
Stepan looks like I don't know what he's doing.
It's like they gave up the sport of hockey. What is
He's
going
scouting for the what team is he scouting for? Minnesota.
drinking beer every day or something. Stepan, I don't know what he's doing.
He's hanging out with Billy Guerin over in Minnesota. But
Yeah.
no, I was messaging with Shrimpy, and he's gonna come on again soon, so we'll be able to talk to him about the event.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
Keep saying to get a hold of him.
So Matteau, though, interesting. Coach brought this up. I guess he was randomly watching Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals from 1994.
No, Game 7. They mentioned the stat.
Oh, so you were watching Game 7. Gotcha. Well, after that, you said Matteau previously scored an OT in that series to win, and I did look that up. And yeah, Game 3, Coach, both in double overtime, Game 7 and Game 3, not just overtime, both in double overtime. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
he
is that
only had
is that worth
goals for the Rangers total?
I don't know, but for those fans out there who are like, oh, we traded all the youth in '94, like me, is that worth Tony Amonte? I don't know. 2 double overtime goals in the Eastern Conference.
That's
Finals.
what I keep arguing with you about.
That might be worth Tony Amonte.
Tony Amonte wouldn't have won us a cup like that. He wasn't. I don't think he was that type of player. Like,
well,
it's
it's
a
Monday morning
Bobby
quarterback
Nystrom.
thing.
He's like a Bobby Nystrom type, He's
Yeah.
famous for those overtime goals, and that's how his banner's hanging up. I mean, Matteau's banner's not going to hang up, but
No.
Nystrom wasn't anything of a great player. He just was a clutch player.
No, but I mean, the guy's a Ranger legend, and he played 85 games with the team. I mean,
Game 7,
that's it. That's it.
Fernandez, Game 7.
He's a legend. So, Stepan Matteau, who else with 32?
His skates are hanging up in the hallways of Madison Square Garden in one of the shadow boxes.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into the games. We got a lot to talk about. 3 games. Positive things to talk about today. So for those of you looking to complain about the team, you might want to turn this off. This is going to be a fun episode. The Rangers opened up at home against Dallas. They lost 5-4 in overtime after a 3-0 lead. Not so positive there, but then a 3-2 win in overtime against New Jersey and a 2-1 win on the road against the first place in the NHL, Vegas Golden Knights. A lot of good things to talk about. Let's start, before we get into the positives, let's start with a negative. jump right into the coach's corner. This way we end with it's all about how you finish, right, Coach? Not how you start, it's how you finish. So start with the coach's corner. Let's get into Mika Zibanejad playing defense against Jack Hughes. Coach, take it away.
Hey everybody, Coach Ed here. I'm over here in the shop at Bella Italia Marble Granite and Quartz, picking up my order for a nice little bathroom I'm doing. I've been a contractor almost as long as I'm a hockey coach. So listen to me when I tell you, when you want the quality work and craftsmanship, I'm going to see the boys over at Bella. They serve all 5 boroughs, Westchester, Long Island, all the way out to Montauk. Whether you're a Ranger fan, Islander fan, Devils fan, they're going to take care of you no matter what. Make sure you give them a call, 516-561-1018. Let's go Rangers.
All right, boys, bring it in.
You got to get these other commercials recorded.
So let's start by the fact that we've been bitching and moaning about Mika not even playing the strong defensive game we're used to seeing him play. And in that Devils game, I thought he did a great job against Hughes. The whole team did, but he particularly, I feel that was the matchup the Rangers were getting.
I'm trying to put Coach on the screen here. Here we go. Sorry, boys.
So the issue I have with the whole situation was, and we always say, well, I know I do anyway, about how he's somewhat of a soft player. I mean, he gets hit with the puck in the face the other night. He's holding his face like he got shot by an elephant tranquilizer, taking himself out of the play. Finish the play. You're not bleeding. Nothing's, come on. So there were I counted at least 3 situations where he had Jack Hughes had the puck on the wall on somewhat of a breakout situation. Mika had him angled. Hughes got rid of the puck, and he didn't finish his check. I mean, split second. He just skates away. Where in a game like that should be like a playoff atmosphere, you got to give him a couple of black and blues that game. He's got to feel it. He's bigger than him. Like I said to you guys on the side, you're not trying to ask him to hit Jamie Benn, who's freaking gigantic. You're not asking him to hit these monsters like Stone. It's Jack Hughes. When you have him cornered like that, you got to put the body on. I'm not asking you to throw an elbow like Rempe's been doing and knock. You got to just put a body on and make him feel the glass a little bit. During the course of the game, that's going to make him get rid of the puck even a little more quicker. If he knows he could come around the net with the puck and you're gonna let him do what he wants and not even hit him, it's going to give him even another second or 2 seconds to make a decision. It's like Valaket says, it's a game of intimidation. No matter how you look at the speed of the game or whatever, and you got to put that little bit into him that he's not going to get that free pass. And I mean, what do you guys think about that before I get on to the next point?
That's one of my biggest negative things I can say about Zibanejad is I am with you. Like, I'm not asking him to throw or go heavy into the corners, but especially in the playoffs and things like that, he's got to finish his checks just a little bit. Like we always tell our players or whoever, like you got to be a little bit annoying to play against. You got to make the D think or second guess a little bit, or whoever it is, Hughes, the defense on the forecheck, whatever. You got to think, you got to put that thought in their mind that they're not going to get a free pass every time, whether it's a little bump or whatever it is. Maybe it's a little bump from Zibby, but then the next guy, it's a harder hit if Cooley's coming in or somebody,
I agree.
I'm not even asking him to go out of his way and chase him down.
Right.
He was in a position minimum 3 times that I noticed that he could have finished the check nice, and it would have been effective, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, but I think sometimes with certain players, when we talk about playing physical, I think fans want every player to be, Will Cooley, for example, and that's just not going to be the case. So like you guys are saying, just to like piggyback on it a little more, there's ways to play physical without throwing, booming hits. Or I think of a guy like Fox, for example. Like Fox, he's not overly physical, but there are times where you notice he's playing physically and he's tying a guy up a little bit tighter. His body positioning is a little stronger. He's boxing guys out a little better, right? Like there's ways that a guy like Zibanejad, who's not a physical player, can be more physical on the defensive side of the puck without laying guys out. So
Right.
he's got to be on the body. He's not, in my opinion. He's playing much better. He's playing much better.
No, I don't want to take that away from him. This whole 3-game stretch, I think he's playing really well. The whole team is. And he
Really, like for him, more than that, right? I think like a 7 or 8 game stretch where his play has picked up significantly.
Yeah, definitely. He is, I think, playing more physical when he's going for pucks on the wall. He's getting active on the wall and stuff. But I don't know why he just shied away from it. Is it a respect thing? I don't know I don't even know what to say. But I thought that's, if you could take that out of his game, use that split second, that means a lot. He's still a dynamic player, but
yep,
that means a lot.
That
changes
by the
everything.
way,
I mean, you beat a player like that, a smaller, fast player, by beating him up a little bit. It's not rocket science. It's just hockey. It's how hockey's been played forever. Like
you got to get in their way. Same thing with Jesper Bratt, same kind of guy.
and especially if
his way.
Especially if Zibanejad's going to be matched up with him pretty much every time, it seems like, especially when the Rangers are home, then he's got to be the one to do it, because then no one else is going to be able to do it.
I saw a stat, by the
Like
way, Little Ed. Hughes against the Rangers has like 30 points in his career.
It's incredible.
And against everyone else, his highest is like 19. He's got 16 goals. His highest is 11 against other teams. He loves playing the Rangers, man. He loves it. Because because the fans cheered when they were getting Capo Caco. But anyway, I digress. So Gaza says Cousin Ed later this year equals sleepy new dad. I forgot to mention, does that mean when the baby's born that I'm going to get like a 6 month to a year period where I'm going to be like off my game and it's going to be understood by everybody? Or are you guys going to be critical of me if my outlines are bad during that time? Or
I mean, we're not asking you to split the atom. I think you could still handle doing an outline.
I'm going to send you a half asleep bullet point note on the iPhone instead of the beautiful outlines I sent you now.
We're still doing our weekly outline
while you're holding the
calls, because it's
baby,
working out great.
Yeah, while you're holding the baby at 2:00 in the morning, you could sit there typing with the other hand. And do the outline. Baby's gonna weigh like 12 pounds.
I can't wait. Anyway,
it's not like you're chasing him around. He's not going to be crawling around.
I noticed you had the board, Coach. You got anything to draw for us? Or
Yeah, because the other issue I have was on Hughes' goal, which was a big goal. I think that they tied the game.
That was the 1-1 goal. Yep.
All right, let's see if I can get this situated here. Again, Mika is not famous for getting in the way of a wrist shot or a slap shot. He's not going to be sliding to block a shot. He does play the puck really well on the penalty kill and take away passing lanes, but he's not that guy.
He anticipates
he's not that guy that's going to be blocking shots. So on their goal, Hughes was over here. I don't know how I'm doing this upside down. And Mika's over here.
Doing great.
Mika's over here. The puck's up here. And Mika's like this. The guy goes to take the shot, and Mika's like this, like he's going to block it. Then he gets out of the way, and it goes right to Hughes, and he taps it in. I mean, what are you doing? Go guard him. Let Igor make the save from the point, and go guard the guy that's got 20 goals in 10 games against the Rangers.
Yeah.
I don't understand what his mindset was on that play. Because what happened on that play, I believe Hughes came around the net, and Mika just stopped here because the guy had the puck up here. Instead of like seeing where he is, and not even next to him, you could be like near him, guarding on a rebound, and he just like went up like this and like half-heartedly went to block it and got out of the way like that. And Hughes just freaking tapped it in. I'm like, you got to.
You know what I think? You know what I think Mika needs? I really think he needs a big time game-winning goal. He almost had it in that overtime. He had that breakaway opportunity. But I was looking at this the other day. Can you name the only other 2 forwards on the Rangers without a game-winning goal this year who played more than like 15 games? There's only 2 forwards other than Mika. Early trivia.
Game-winning goal, not overtime goal.
No game-winning. A game-winning goal. Overtime would be a game-winning goal. Just a game-winning goal, meaning you get the
Can I
second
name
goal
them?
and they score 1.
Edstrom.
No, Edstrom just got 1 against Vegas.
Oh, right.
It's
Rempe.
Jimmy VC. Rempe I don't even count. Yeah, Rempe I don't even count. Jimmy VC and Brodzinski. Every other forward on the team, other than Mika, has a game-winning goal this year. I just think he needs to like be the guy who like gets a big goal, wins the game in a clutch moment, and then he'll feel it again. Like
Wait,
he's getting
every other
better,
player on the team has a game-winning goal.
Forward.
Forward. I mean, that's still kind of like maybe it's not, but I think that's kind of like a weird stat that every forward has a game-winning goal.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got one. Even Kako had one.
Maybe it's more common than I think, but that sounds weird to me. So, well, actually, you're saying 9 out of the 12 because you said VC and Brodzinski don't.
9 out of 13, they would be.
Okay,
Or
so
10 out
you're
of 10 out
counting
of
the
13.
You're counting the extra.
Yeah, Panarin's got 1, Trocheck's got 3, Cooley's got 1, Laffy's got 2, Smith's got 2, Heedle's got 1, Kreider has 4, Kako had 1.
Wait, Smith
Carrick
has 2?
He's got 2.
I'm changing my mid-season report card.
Berard even has a game-winning goal. Edstrom just got a game-winning goal.
Did you tease the mid-season report cards? I guess not.
No,
you
I
said It was
forgot.
going to be a positive episode.
I forgot, but yeah, we're gonna do mid-season report cards. Here's the tease. After we finish these topics, we divvied up the players and staff, and I literally said right before the episode that I was gonna tease it in the beginning, and just completely didn't. Anyway,
So anyway, getting back to Mika, in a 7-game series, say against Florida last year, letting up a goal like that, like not covering that man for that split second, could be the difference in a series. You know,
100%. 100%.
It's that simple where you have to be a player of his caliber, like we keep saying, a quote unquote #1 center, Selke candidate year after year, talked about, maybe not in the voting, but talked about, should not be making that mistake in a big game like that when he's playing well. So he's already in that groove. He's been playing well for 6-7 games or whatever number you want to determine. But that was a mistake. That was a bad mistake.
yeah, it definitely was.
I mean, not to repeat myself, but it's the same thing I said before. If Zibanejad's job is to be on Jack Hughes and match that line, then he's got to be on him the whole time in the defensive zone. Like, no questions asked. Like, it's not even – and that's one of my biggest pet peeves is people jumping out of the way of pucks. You either got to block it or you got to really get out of the way because other than
Did
that –
you guys notice it or no? Or am I the only one that noticed it?
No, you noticed
I didn't
it.
notice it. I didn't notice it
Paul said
live,
in the
but-
chat.
Oh, I didn't
Also,
see
I
it.
remember Mika leaping out of the way of the shot. Yeah, I mean, when he does that, it's obvious. But he has no hesitation hitting one of our players with a shot, right?
Yeah. Poor Troche.
Oh man, Trocheck! I tweeted after that Vincent Trocheck hockey guy because damn, for him to get hit square in the nuts
And put the
And-
puck in.
and let the puck drop right in front of him and just bang it home and then just skate directly. He went right to the locker room. He didn't even but he had the ability the wherewithal to be like, the puck's here, the net's open in that kind of pain. That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is, I really damn, that is unbelievable. Like the
So is that
female
your
fans
play of
out
the
there
week?
don't
Second
understand.
play
They
of the
just-
week.
Oh, that's the play of the year. I mean, dude, that was a rocket. Even Micheletti's like, that was going 20 feet wide. It was a rocket. It hit him right in the mommy daddy button, as right in the fat bastard, right? I got a lot of Austin Powers quotes in my head the last few days. Anyway, so that was unbelievable. But All right, we'll get to Trocheck in a few. Let's talk
Hold
about
on,
this.
Chris has a quick question. I'm just saying, last week when I brought up the worst defensive at 5-on-5, coach said goals against don't matter if they are scoring. Mika's been scoring. So goals against shouldn't count, right?
No. I'm not saying they don't matter. It's just a little easier, like we talk about with Keandre. If he's putting up points and he's not doing well defensively, you can tolerate it. That's what we say, like with Panarin.
Right.
But Mika
Yeah.
wasn't putting up the points and playing horribly defensively. So
Yeah,
you're not
evidenced by
getting
his
anything. The power
evidenced by his.
penalty kill
I
was
think
downhill. Everything was downhill in his game. So you're not getting any positive, is what we were saying. So I'm sorry if I didn't clarify that enough.
Chris just likes to challenge us, but I do think Zibanejad.
Challenge it,
Let Chris challenge me on this. I do think he has a league worst plus minus. I think of eligible people, minus 21.
Mika's minus 21.
He's minus 21.
He's got no points.
Well, he's got 27 points. He's fourth on the team in points, coach. Minus 21. Like that is significant, right? I usually don't like he's minus 9. See, here we go. Someone's correcting me already. Pretty sure it's minus 21. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway. So it's
and the baby's not even here yet.
It's definitely minus 21. I saw it today. But anyway, inconsistencies on D. I want to talk about this. Let's move off Mika because he has been playing better. So we shouldn't just sit here and berate Mika. But, I noticed.
Look, I don't mean to put him down in the coach's corner, but that was.
Well, he's had a bad year. I mean, there's no question.
Stronger on Jack Hughes. That's all I'm saying.
He's been better. But the defense is. I feel like individually, they're very inconsistent, right? So, like even like guys like Schneider, take a guy who's not Keandre or Lindgren who get a lot of the attention. Take a guy like Schneider who's kind of a quiet, third pairing guy. He had like a stretch of games, coach, where even you said like he's been horrible. I don't know what he's doing, and now he's back to playing well again. Like Keandre, he makes that horrible play against Dallas, which. I don't think I've seen a play like that in the NHL where a guy with 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go, up 4-3, takes the puck behind his own net and stops in the corner only to be out-muscled and have the puck taken away. I've never seen anything like that before.
No, he didn't have the puck taken away. He went to hit the puck D to D. It took him like 4. I was watching that game live. I was at that game, by the way. And I was like, first of all, I'm like, why is he even out there? I'm thinking to myself. Second of all, he takes it all the way back, which is fine. What takes him so long to make that decision? Hit it up the wall off the glass, hit it to your partner, and the guy got stick on stick after he finally made the decision, and the guy had time to read it, stick on stick, and then took the puck to the other guy, got in the corner one time.
Horrible.
It was just
horrible.
Come on.
It's just terrible. In that spot, you're playing a great team. You're. I think at the time they were on a 2-game win streak, right? They had won. What was it? Am I crazy? No, they
whatever
just
it was.
Boston.
We had a 3-0 lead. They came back. We take the
My
lead.
Brain is
we
off.
take the lead, which is a big comeback. Like after blowing it, and
yep.
then you just deflates the bubble.
Yeah, so they beat Boston. They lost to Washington, but played well. Then they played Chicago. They won that game. So you're 2 out of 3. You got a chance to go 3 out of 4 against a great opponent at home where they struggled, and you just don't hit that hard out of the zone. I mean, I just don't understand what he's doing there. I mean,
do anything but what he did.
I just don't understand. But then
ice it, do anything.
Literally.
But then against New Jersey and Vegas, I thought he was great in those games, honestly. And I think
he was even good in the Dallas game. He was even good in the Dallas game. I'm not going to lie,
Yeah, until that point.
I may not even put him in the doghouse for that one play because he's been playing that well. I noticed, like, even with Mika,
Borgen, he needs a guy like Borgen, and like he had Trouba.
Well, I was going to say that when you got on the inconsistency, And look, I love Truba. Zach Jones is a good player, but since they got Borgen and Vakanainen, or however you say his name, the defense men have been more consistent and more steady.
Yeah.
These guys play well man on man. They play well without the puck. And
They skate
make
well.
very good decisions.
They balance
Borgen and
out the
Vakanainen.
pairs. They balanced out the pairs well, and I think they shook up the core a little bit, where the returning guys like Fox and Miller might have been, or Schneider might have been like, all right, like, you know, these kids can, or these guys can play. You know, I'm not losing my spot, but I got to step it up here. You know, or else I'm going to.
Jones.
Well, whatever. I'm talking about the regulars, the core.
What's your read on Vakanainen?
Say what you want about Jones, but he's not as physical as these two guys.
Yeah.
These guys
I want your
play
read
the
on
body.
Vakanainen, Coach.
I like the way he plays. I like the way he works in the corner. I like the way he battles. He's consistent. He makes smart breakout passes. He doesn't just give the puck up.
They play
I
confident.
like the way those two guys play.
They play
Really
confident.
do.
They make the simple.
Yeah.
They make the right plays. They make the simple plays. They don't try to do too much. They stay within
They've
their
even had some
means.
scoring
and they excel.
opportunities. They join the rush when they can, or when they just, you know. But I think they make very smart plays. I don't see them getting beat noticeably at all. I mean,
They have.
You know what else?
They have.
You know what
they
else?
know what tool, because they know what tools they have, and they know where the workshop is.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a relation back to one of Eddie's texts from earlier about Miller. You know what stood out to me about them when I was kind of trying to assess it? Like, these guys are just, you know, realistically bottom pairing type defensemen. So why is it making such an impact? But they both can skate. They're both, you know, relatively big. Vakanainen's like a little skinny, I guess. He's not like overly physical, but he's big. He's got reach. And they both can pass, right? And that's what you need in this game. And Borgen is very physical. But I looked at this, Coach. In 23 combined games, Borgen's played 11 with the Rangers and Vakanainen's played 12. They've combined for only 5 minor penalties, which is incredible for, you know, two guys who are quote unquote bottom pairing type defensemen. You usually see a lot more minor penalties from that.
and they
That's
play
fine.
physical.
And Borgen has played minutes with Keandre that are not bottom pairing type minutes. So he's playing against good players, and he's got, you know, 4 penalty minutes in 11 games. That's pretty good. I mean, he's not putting the Rangers on the kill, right? So staying out of the box, moving the puck out of the zone, it makes a huge difference. I don't know. I feel like it is stabilizing it, but they got to be consistent. Lindgren has been the whipping boy of this fan base for this season, and rightfully so in a lot of ways. However, in Vegas, he played a hell of a game. I texted you guys a couple times. I thought that was Lindgren's best game of the season. So I'm hoping that continues.
I mean, again, I think he's been playing well since that Boston game. I think the whole defensive core and the team itself has been playing well, and I think that makes the defenseman's job easy. When the forwards are playing well defensively, it makes the defenseman's decisions easy, because like the goalie has to read the play, so do the defensemen, and it just goes down the line. So if the forwards are creating the back pressure like we've talked about before, it makes the D easy to read it. They can play the guy on the boards. They can challenge. There's a lot that goes on, you know, so that turns in the whole defenseman core playing a lot better. It all adds up. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
It's, you know, every coach talks about it on their press conferences. And that's what's happening right now. The guy I saw it live, and what a difference between that Devils game we were at and the Dallas game. The skating, everybody was like, as Micheletti would say, they're skating on their toes, they're flying, they're back checking, forechecking. It was just a total different team, and it's pretty much the same play.
Dude, our boy PJ, he went to Vegas. He went to the Vegas game.
Nice.
He was like, after the Dallas game, he's like, I don't think I'm going to go. I'm like, well, are you going to Vegas? He's like, yeah. I'm like, so you're not going to go to the game? You're just going to Vegas? He's like, I don't know. They're not playing well. I'm like, go to the game. What are you, crazy? So when you listen to this, PJ, I'm glad you went to the game, because he was very happy with how they played. They're playing a lot better. I mean, I went to the Panthers game I want you guys to go back to where the Rangers were when they went into Sunrise and played the Panthers. Okay, I went to that game and I sat through that, and that was the kind of the turnaround for this team in playing better. They came back from a 2-0 deficit in that game. They lost the game, but they
What
started
date
to
was
play a
that?
little better. That was the 30th.
New Year's Eve,
December.
wasn't it?
No,
Chris
it's the
said
30th.
December 20th has been the
Oh, okay.
effort change.
Okay. I mean, maybe it started there, but the 30th is when I really noticed it live. I was like, all right, we're pushing. We're gonna lose, but we're pushing. So that was like a start. Anyway, I'm glad he went to the game. The D overall has been better. Coach, like you said with the forwards, one of the first things I learned when I started playing hockey is the concept of read and react, right? I mean, for all those people who played the game, you know that phrase. So read and react is difficult when you're trying to read what the forwards are doing and there's no one there. You can't really react to that. It's difficult. You don't know what to do because there's 3-on-2s and 4-on-2s and 3-on-1s and 2-on-1s. And as a defenseman, it becomes overwhelming. And as a goalie, probably even more so. But the forwards have been better. And you're right. That has impacted the D's consistency, I think, individually.
A defenseman's decision, if there's a guy picking up the trailer, is so much easier
Yeah.
than if it's a 3-on-2 or a 4-on-2. And when we were at that Devils game, it was like a constant odd man rush the whole game. So that's just a nightmare for the defenseman. You don't know who to pick up. You don't know who to challenge. You don't know what to do. The goalie doesn't know where the shot's coming from. It's just a disaster.
No
By the way, we didn't
backside
mention
there was
we didn't
nothing.
mention Little Ed on the road. What does that say in the background behind me? Dream big, sleep well, dream big.
well, dream big.
All right, Little Ed on the road. Lil Lil apostrophe Ed. That's your rap name. All right, let's talk about the bread man and his line. We've been critical of that line. They haven't been producing offensively, and that is their point. As Chris mentions every episode, defensively, they've been a mess, and they haven't put up the points. All three guys are down. Panarin's point production his pace is down almost 30 points. Trocheck's is down 20 points. Lafreniere is down 10 points. So all three players are really producing at a significantly lower output than last year. But in these 3 games, they woke up, some of it on the power play. Lafreniere had 2 goals against Dallas. Trocheck had a goal against Vegas and 2 against Dallas. He had 5 points, and Panarin also the goal and 5 points in these 3 games. So, what has changed for them? I don't know. Honestly, is it Trocheck? I don't know. Coach would probably say it's Trocheck, I'm assuming.
I don't know. I think it's just a mindset as a team. I don't know. I can't say one player is actually playing that much better. But what I like to see is like Laffy getting involved in a little scrum. It gets their blood boiling. It gets them involved, engaged, like you always say. That's all part of the game where you're into the game. And I just watched I know you're breaking my chops about Instagram, but there was this coach they interviewed, and he said, no, actually it was on NHL. Tony Granato was on with EJ on. They have a show on in the afternoon, like 4:00. And he said there's a big USA hockey thing with the scouts. And he said to all the young players, the scouts, everybody at these games is talented. The scouts are looking at body language. They're looking at what you're doing when you're on the bench, what you're doing when your teammate scores. Are you pissed that you didn't get the puck? Are you happy that your line mate scored as much as you would be if you scored? All those little things is what they're scouting. And he goes to all you young guys, don't let a scout put an X mark next to you because of something like that. Because that never leaves. Once it's in the computer, it's in the computer. So that's something that I see going in a positive direction. Like Laffy's involved. They're scoring. They're excited with each other. Not like, oh, the goal went in, blah, blah, blah. They're celebrating goals. They're even, Zibanejad tried to be excited when Trocheck got hit, but Trocheck just skated away from him. But, I just see like a better.
So mad.
He went right to the locker room.
Kidding me, dude. Hit the net. Like-
right in the nuts.
Dude,
Oh,
we say all the
right in
time. We
mom
say
and
all the
daddy
time
button.
these guys are human, but he had to have given Mika
You
some
gotta-
shit in the locker room after that.
Oh,
You gotta
yeah. Oh,
post-
100%.
You got to post that clip and then on Instagram, and then also post the like second. You know, you can do like two things at once. Post the clip from Austin Powers. Oh, right in the mom and daddy button.
Yeah, I mean, I just see a better body language, a lot of things happening positive.
Yeah, they're having fun. They're having fun again.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. So that line's been good, and then also, you know, Chris Kreider's been out, and Mika Zibanejad has a 6-game point streak. I know some of it is like an assist off Trocheck's, you know, mommy daddy button, but still, 6-game point streak after when Zibanejad started the year, coinciding with Kreider being out. Kind of, I don't know. I mean, Laviolette seems to have taken a look at that, and I saw today at practice they have Kreider with Hedel and Kaliev as the third line, and he left Cooley with Zibanejad and Smith on the second line. So
I like the way that kid plays too. He plays physical.
You think there's anything to splitting up Kreider and Mika? Any reasoning in Laviolette's mind there?
Well, I don't know if there's any reasoning. Again, Tony Granato mentioned it. He's coached at a very high level. What they do is, he says the mindset of that is to break up that line. He feels that inevitably they'll be back together. But as a coach, you want to do something different. You have to try to shake it up. You can't leave the lines together if things aren't going right, right? You have to make a change. He shook up the lines. He took Mika off, let's say, the top line, and everything's going well right now. So he's just got to figure out a way to push some buttons and get it together, and they'll be together on the power play, I'm sure. And who knows what it'll be in 10 games, but
how many different line mates is Hedel going to have this year? I feel like he's just played with everybody except Panarin and Laffy. Now he's Kreider and Kaliev. Before it was Kako and Cooley. Then it was Cooley and Berard.
My question is, how many guys with a game-winning goal have played on Hedel's line?
Everyone.
All of them.
Except Zibanejad's the only one who doesn't have one. Brodzinski and Vesey. God, Vesey's had a tough year, man, too. Up and down the lineup, these guys are having tough years. It's crazy. It's real. I've never seen anything like it, ever. Such a drop off across the board, you know.
Yeah,
well, we'll get into it with the report cards.
We can't even talk about Vesey's tough year because literally everyone else is having a tough year, and they're more important to the team. So like Vesey's just going like we're not even talking about him. Anyway, all right. Well, we'll see. I agree with you on Kaliev, Coach. I like his game. He's a little slow and a little indecisive. I think maybe tentative coming to a new team, a young kid. But
wait, I don't think you guys saw my text. He was in the warm-up at the Dallas game.
Oh, I did see that. Your text, yeah.
I said I call him Kovalev.
Well, somebody tweeted, I forgot who it was. Credit to whoever did this. They said, how long until Sam calls him Alexei Kovalev?
But we're not doing broadcast banner today, but did you guys hear Micheletti say in the beginning of the, like in the big
power play goal?
Broadcast banter, Coach.
And he goes, he's got probably, he said something like he's got one of the best releases in the league. This guy's hardly in the league. He hasn't played in a year and a half.
He does have a really good shot. I mean, the book
I'm
on
not
him
saying he doesn't, but how do you make a
I know.
statement like that?
I know it's tough. He should just say he's a good shooter. He's got a good shot.
He's got a really good shot.
One of the best in the league.
He's known for his wrist shot, something.
Yeah.
Not one of the best in the league. I don't think every other team's going, we got a guard.
Well, he
who's
said
one of the best.
he said that against Vegas too. He said he was talking about Shea Theodore and how gifted he is offensively. And I love Micheletti, don't get me wrong, but he's like, he's so gifted offensively, and look at him finish this year, and he's big and strong defensively. That's what makes him one of the best defensemen in the league. And I'm like, he's not even the best defenseman on his team. How is he one of the best defensemen in the league? They have Pietrangelo and Hannafin. I mean, you're saying he's like their third to fourth defenseman on Vegas. I mean, he's probably like a top 30 or 50 defenseman in the league. So I guess that makes him one of the best. I think Micheletti's like one of the best is like top 100. So he's like, oh, this guy's like a top 100 shooter. So he's one of the best in the league, you know, like.
Yeah, maybe he's got to do. I should have asked him that parameter next time.
He should, yeah. We need a range for him. But
I think instead of doing a whole broadcast banter segment, I think whenever we just bring up a broadcast banter, I'm gonna play the soundbite.
yeah, that's the best way to do it. It's you're just like finger on the trigger.
Power play goal.
Finger on
I
the
can make it
trigger. Get
quicker.
ready.
I'll try to make it quicker, like 2 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll work on it.
Yeah. So many funny. I love Sam. It's gonna be sad without Sam next year. It's gonna be tough.
I'm still working
as
on the
much
drinking
as-
game.
He's
As
so
much as
funny.
we
He
had-
just cracks me up.
As much as we, well, not we, I guess me mostly, just hated the way he announced games. It is going to be weird.
Dude, he goes the trivia in the last game. So many things like he just sparking my memory. The trivia in
He
the
was
last
doing
game.
games. He was
goes-
doing the game against the Devils with JG.
Yeah, of
It was
course.
unbelievable.
He goes. It was like, who's the fastest who had the most assists by a Ranger in the first 40 or half of a season or whatever it was.
I got that one, by the way.
And he goes,
Could ask Kathy.
and Joe's like, I don't know, Brian Leach or whatever. And he goes, Sam goes, Jean Rattel. Oh, and then Joe is so he gets so excited when he's right, and Joe gets so mad. It's so funny. And you can tell Joe's annoyed. You can totally tell. He's like,
I
oh,
gave
come
it
on,
to
Sam.
him. I gave it to him in the booth. We were fooling around with the trivia thing.
That's so good.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's so good. Yeah, I just love when Joe makes a point. Sometimes Sam just goes, He doesn't even like respond to it.
I think I made
Anyway.
a card for that one.
Yeah, all right,
That's
let's
what you
just-
should do. I'd make the little clip with that when you hit the button.
We gotta find it. It's the problem.
Next time he does it, we got to record it.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
let's get into
All right.
the milestone moment.
Yeah, milestone moment. Adam Fox passes Brad Park for fourth all time in assists by a Rangers defenseman. Number 1, Brian Leach, 741, a ways to go for Fox. Number 2, Ron Greshner, 431, and James Patrick at 363. So congrats to Adam Fox for being fourth all time in assists by a Rangers defenseman. Pretty impressive. Still young, 6. So he's got a ways to go. He'll move up that list. Especially if he's getting 60, 70 assists every year. So awesome stuff by Foxy. All right, let's go to our midseason report cards. Let's start with Coach Ed. I know he's prepared. Let's go to Coach Ed. Coach, here's your list. Peter Laviolette, Philip Hedl, Vinny Trocheck, Schneider, Chris Kreider, Adam Edstrom, Matt Rempe, and Sam and Joe. Anyone in particular here you think noteworthy that you want to explain your pick?
Well, I want to give the B to the coaching staff because it couldn't have been an easy 36, 7 games or whatever it was. They had to figure out a way to get this team out of the funk, and it happened. So that's the reason why I'm giving them the B. They had that little fun practice. Maybe that was a little bit of a turning point. I don't really know, and it couldn't have been easy dealing with the Trouba situation, losing Barclay Goodrow in the locker room. As far as those kind of guys are like having coaches in the locker room, now they pretty much have Trocheck and maybe Kreider. So I got to give them a little bit of credit. I'm giving that B to the whole coaching staff for sticking through all this, where it was on for a while. It looked like the Laviolette might be getting fired. You know, that's been the trend, and they stuck through it with him, and he stuck with it, handling all those tough press conferences. So I stayed with that.
Yeah, it seems a little high to me,
gave
but I
B.
get it.
Trocheck, I stuck with the B plus because he stayed pretty steady, not his usual scoring, but he was still fighting every game. And Edstrom was got the B+ for the same thing. He was a consistent forechecker, steady every game, nothing great or worse.
Kreider stands out to
Matty-
me with a C, Coach.
I'm sorry?
Kreider stands out to me with a C. Pretty
What,
honest
too high or
assessment
too
by you.
low?
No, I think it's an honest assessment by you. I'm surprised.
I mean, maybe it's because he's playing through this back injury a little bit. I mean, he could have been going on for 10 games. Who knows? But just not, again, back to that little bit of not a little bit, a lot this year of inconsistency. With the last couple of years, we were expecting a lot more. You know, they talk about it a lot in stats. Even with Mika missing the net a lot on that one-timer, he still has like the most one-timers in 5 years of goals. Not the most, like third in the league in one-time goals or something. It's a matter of inches, you know, a centimeter on your stick, hitting the post going wide, you know, it's a matter of that. The same thing with Kreider with the deflections. Those couple of years we're so used to everything he touched went in. So now he's making deflections and they're going wide. The goalie's saving it. They're playing him better. So
Well,
it's tough.
partially-
He's got to figure it out.
It's partially that, Coach, but I was looking at Kreider, his 82 game pace this year because he's missed some games. So let's look at his 82 game pace. He's on pace for as many points this year as he had assists in total last year, 36. He has 2 assists this season. 2 assists. That's, I mean, you think just existing on the ice for 18 minutes a game with all the talent on this team that he would,
Yeah, but
luck,
it's like
luck
you said,
into
it's
like 7 assists.
It's a trickle down. He's
2
playing with
assists?
Zibanejad. He's playing with Zibanejad. Zibanejad has no goals.
He's also on the
Where's-
power play, though. 2
They're not-
assists. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
well, yeah, it is crazy. It's
It's
horrible.
insane. Horribly
I
insane.
mean, I'm
So
still
yeah, I
gonna
think
give
C.
him a C.
I think a C is fair, honest grade. All right, let's go to.
Wait, I have to give Sam and Joe the A. I'm going to give them that because Sam's farewell tour, horrible season the Rangers were having for 40 games, and Joe Joe was still honest for the last probably 20 games,
yeah,
like
he
just
was.
shooting the Rangers down.
And
he wasn't trying
was
to
never
hype
like
it up
that.
because it's Sam. Yeah, he was never like that. And he gave a lot of honest assessments, and I got to give them credit for that. As much as I badmouthed him over the last 3 or 4 years on the podcast, I got to give him credit because he could have just sugarcoated everything because it's Sam's last year.
You're really
So they're
bad,
doing a
mouth
good
coach. You're just joking around.
Well, you know what I mean. You
Don't
know,
be so hard on yourself.
he's doing a good job as far as giving him accolades for his last season and keeping it real honest, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Sam. He's getting everyone loves Sam around the league. They're giving him all kinds of acknowledgments. All right, let's go to.
I think a lot when like Joe makes those comments, like Sam says nothing. He must be like in shock. Like, what did he just say?
Yeah, like MSG doesn't let me say anything bad. All right, let's go to Little Ed. Let's see your midseason report cards. I gave, I divvied this up. I gave Little Ed a lot of the good players on the teams, Banajad, Shesterkin, Fox in particular. I wanted to give him Keandre because I know that's his favorite player, and Brodzinski, so we broke this down. Go ahead, Little Ed. You got a couple Fs here.
Eddie's tough.
A couple of Fs on this list.
Listen,
Let's see who you want to talk about here.
well, first of all, I mean, not that I don't believe in D's. I just think it's a lame score or lame whatever report card letter. So if you're gonna get a D, you might as well just have an F. So a few of these, I guess, Zibanejad and Miller, I thought about giving D's and being nice, but dude, I mean, Zibanejad, you come into this season after last season, the President's Trophy, you expect the number one center for the Rangers to perform. And I mean, last season wasn't his best season either. I mean, I guess you could have had a little bit of a bounce back season, and it was just like pitiful all around. I mean, we did our best to defend him. Coach did a good job in the beginning of the season, breaking down one of those games, and it's been very difficult. So in terms of expectations, which I think the rule was here, you got to go with an F for Zibanejad. I mean,
Yeah,
what else can you go
Yeah.
with? You know,
I agree.
I mean,
agree with
Brodzinski, I mean, you don't really expect much out of him, so I went with the B. I mean, I love Brodzinski. I mean, like I said, you don't expect much out of him. You know what he's going to bring, and he brings it. I mean, is he going to have a quote-unquote off game? What exactly is an off game for a player like him? You know, I mean, he puts in the effort, he forechecks, he does what he has to do. Cooley, no secret there, A-. I don't really have to go into that. We've been talking about Cooley all season. Shesterkin, similar thing with Zibanejad. I mean, I know he's been he has the stats to back it up, but like I said on the last episode, he still had that stretch where he was letting up like 4, 5, 6 goals. I know the team in front of him isn't playing well, but you know he shouldn't be giving up that many goals. I don't remember
per evolving hockey, Shesterkin has saved 20.53 goals above expected, which is second in the NHL, even through that stretch. So I'm just saying it was really bad, dude. The stretch was not his fault.
I'm not saying it's his fault, but that's the reason why I got a B- instead of an A. So
or an F.
Well, I knew I was gonna get it for that, so I almost gave him a C. So I snuck in the B-. I'm not pouring it down. Well, I guess I will pour it a little bit on Miller. And you teased my text a few minutes ago. But I'm tired of hearing that he has all the tools. He has no idea where the workshop is, and he doesn't know how to use his tools. So get him out of here. I'm tired of it. Let him find his tools in Seattle with Kakko or something. There's no room on this team if we want them to win a Stanley Cup in the next year, 2, 3 years. There's no room for this team for a defenseman of his stature and of his ability to be still looking for his tools. I'm just over it. So expectations again.
I disagree, but I hear you. You're right.
Coming into the season, you know, he didn't have a good season last year. We gave him a pass. He's still developing or whatever. He had all summer to develop and to watch film and work on his game, get even stronger, get even faster, work on his stick handling, his decision making, his anticipation, his defensive awareness, and we saw zero improvement. Zero.
And he played with Fox.
And he played with Fox to start the season, which everyone was clamoring for. Get him away from Trouba. Trouba's weighing him down. What?
Let me interrupt you. When he played with Fox, that pairing was one of the top pairings in the league analytically.
Okay.
I'm just saying it was.
My report card is the eye test.
It was, though.
Too. So anyway.
If it was that good, then why is he not playing with Fox?
The coach loves Lindgren, is obsessed with Lindgren and Fox together for whatever reason.
It's not all about analytics. That pair does not work well.
I agree. I'm just saying when paired with Fox, he had a great stretch of games analytically. That's all I said.
Put that pair together. All right, maybe in the first 10 games of a regular season, it might work out pretty okay when teams are still kind of in preseason mode. But put that pair together in the playoffs, and they'll get eaten alive. Should I go Smith and Carrick? I mean, Smith, we were expecting a lot more. I gave him the C-. I probably could have given him a D as well. And Carrick, I mean, everything I'm sure the coach is asking him to do, he's done. Similar to Brodzinski, what do you call a bad game out of Carrick? So I think he shocked us a little bit with the expectations.
Yeah, I'd probably go a little higher on Smith. I think especially lately, Smith has been noticeable.
I was expecting more out of him, and I was trying not to be recency bias. I was trying to really kind of cut it off at the new year.
But also, I think your grades are pretty fair overall. So I'm not being critical, but I don't think they should give up on Keandre yet. All right.
Chris said they also had really bad opponents when they played together. So thank you, Chris.
That's true. They started off the year with a soft schedule. That is true. All right. Let's jump to Cousin Ed's midseason report cards. Let's see. So, of course, you guys gave me Chris Drury. So
wait, what's what's a D? A D is from 65 to 70.
No, so I give him a D plus.
68.
I give him a D plus, which some schools do. In my school, I give him a plus, because I give him a D because a GM's role is mostly in the off season, right? During the season is very, there are things that happen, but I think you get judged by how you bring the team into the season. And I think Drury just so poorly brought this team into the year, the way he handled Gaudreau and Trouba. And I think understandably so from a cap perspective, but if you're going to do it, you got to do it. You know, not getting the Trouba thing done in the summer and having that leak and then going into year with Trouba, that's why he brings the D. And then I give him a plus because, you know, I do like that he stuck with the coaching staff and didn't give this core of entitled players another scalp, so to speak. And he traded Trouba. He followed through on that. He got value. He didn't retain any salary in that trade. I don't really like the Kakko trade, but I like Borgen. So I think his time will tell if they re-sign him or turn him into a higher pick. Maybe that trade looks better. He seems like a really useful player. So I think at the time, you know, you don't like it, but it might end up being a good trade in the long run. So I think that's fair on Drury. Laffy and Panarin, like I said, they dropped in their point production. That's why they're there. Without the points, they got to put up points. So I give them both a C. I think Jones has been pretty damn good, to be honest with you. I know you guys are saying he's not big, he's not physical. I agree with that. But I think he had a 20-game stretch where he played every game, and he played pretty well, and he moved the puck up ice. He created chances in the offensive zone. I thought he was pretty good for his projection.
I agree with that. If this team doesn't have Adam Fox, you know, it's a different story. And I forget where I heard this. I think it might have been on Morning Cup of Hockey with Johnny Laz, but other teams are saying the same thing, that they already have that type of player, so they're not even looking to trade for him.
Yeah, I know Eric Brandstrom just got waived. He reminds me of Jones. I forgot who waived him. I think Ottawa. Berard, I gave an A-. I expected him to, you know, get a cup of coffee this year. He ended up getting 19 games in this first stint, and I just think he's a puck hound. I love that about him, and I think it's a perfect bottom six player. Puck hound with some skill. He's got to work on his awareness a little bit. That's why I knocked him. I think he goes off sides a little too much, or his passes are a little off. He, you know, would turn the puck over, whatever. But kid's going to be a player, so A- for him. VC terrible this year, not in and out of the lineup.
Why, when he's in the lineup, he's playing okay.
I don't like his game. I think he's been much more noticeable in prior years. I think it's tough. He's in and out of the lineup, and he started the year hurt, so maybe he's having a hard time getting some consistency. Fair, but I mean, he's supposed to be like a skill guy who's responsible in the bottom six, and I just don't see enough from him. He's kind of like a zero out there, and I expect a little more from him. So I'm docking him. I'm not saying he's actively hurting the team by that D grade, but you know, I would expect him to produce a little bit more offensively, not just in points, but in forechecking and cycling, and just stand out a little bit more. And yeah, just round it out with Lindgren, a C-. Like I said, the Vegas game, I love that game he played. I was so happy. I thought he was physical. He laid somebody out. I told you guys he like dropped an anvil on that guy on the boards. Like, I haven't seen him throw a hit like that. Yeah, I haven't seen him throw a hit like that in a while. I am really hoping the second half of the season Lindgren gets an A, but I don't know. He's plays a physical, tough game in his career. He's taking a beating. You worry with a guy like him that, you know, he's going to fade out pretty young. So I don't have a good read on whether he's at that point or if he can recover, but I have hope that he can improve on his early season performance. Like who said, I think you said in an episode, Ed, Lindgren like started the year hurt and he had a tough time when he came back. They kind of rushed him back. So that kind of stuff. Yeah, the bubble, right? We did that with Gaudreau last year. We went through this where you guys were defending Gaudreau, saying he was wearing a bubble for like 20 games.
It's not just us. They talk about it on NHL Network all the time.
Yeah.
It's hard to see the puck in your feet, and it's a quick game.
Yeah.
And if you don't see it right away, you know, it's a lot of shit that you don't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going from not wearing one to wearing one must be real hard. And
yeah, it's got to be.
I feel like Lindgren rushes himself back too. You know, like
he's going to lose the spot if he doesn't get back. So
probably.
But he's a UFA at the end of the year, so let's see what Drury does. If the Rangers push towards a playoff spot, if they self-rent him, that's an option. They also could probably get a hell of a lot in a trade. I know fans think he sucks. I do sometimes text he sucks, but he doesn't suck. But I say it sometimes. But, a lot of people think he sucks. But think about if you're Vegas or if you're, I don't know, Washington or Tampa or any of these teams that are thinking of making a run for a Stanley Cup. You want to add some defensive depth. A guy like Ryan Lindgren, who will dive head first in front of a slap shot, is exactly what you want to rent for just a playoffs, run. So
Yeah.
he's gonna be worth a lot at the deadline, I think, if the Rangers do trade him. But if they're close, they'll probably self-rent him, and I'm sure they'll get criticized for that. But we'll talk about that a little closer to the deadline. But that's it. Those are my grades. I'm sure I'll get ripped apart for that on social media. Anyway, all right. Let's go from
They were
that.
pretty fair.
All right. Let's go into our stars of the week. I really wish
Bad boy 63.
I really wish Little Ed had the time every week to just change that picture to a different grilling photo.
I mean, I could. We
gotta
only
be
have like
so-
3. I can just make a new. Yeah, I could do it.
I gotta dig it up. There's gotta be more grilling photo, but the grilling photos are great. Just look at that picture. Look at that. Just look at that picture. Like, where was that taken? Like
That was our
It was
end
at
of the year
Dick
Stony
Hills.
Brook barbecue, I think, last year.
At Dick Hills, yeah.
Yeah.
all right. We're gonna do player of the week and Doghouse this week again. As we go into the new year, kind of liking this new format. So let's see if we keep it. But all right, player of the week. Let's start with Little Ed. Go ahead, give me your player of the week and why.
I'm gonna go with Trocheck. I think he stepped it up. He's doing his best to step up and fill that leadership void on this team and in the locker room. And he's also stepping it up on the ice, putting up some points. Was it this episode or last episode, the Dallas game?
This episode.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you were supposed to talk about your Garden experience. But yeah, I mean, even though they lost that game, he said the right thing in the interview afterwards, like because they asked him like, "Good job stepping it up" or whatever, and he goes, "No, it doesn't matter. The team lost." So I think as a leader on this team, that was the right thing to say. And yeah, I think he's if the team's going to turn it around, he's going to be right at the forefront.
I
agree.
picked Trocheck too for all those reasons.
So we're only doing
I had
player of the week. I thought we're doing the whole 5.
No, just player of the week, coach.
Plus, mommy, daddy buttons.
You're killing me.
Is that in Trocheck's new nickname?
Yeah, seriously. Who's your player of the week, coach?
I got Troche too. Then I had him for offensive.
He had him for
Definitely.
offensive, key contributor, defensive, and
No.
highlight of the week.
We gotta do key contributor.
Do it.
Well, why don't you just give us your key contributor and we'll go from there.
Well, it's the same as the play of the week. My key contributor is going to Carrick. I got 2 big plays of the week. The first one in the Vegas game, breaking up that 2-on-1,
Yep.
was probably one of the biggest plays of the season defensively.
At the end of a shift too.
Yeah. To not give up, not to watch it, to bust it and make the play at the end was very big because that was a tap-in goal. And his overtime winner. I'm watching that game. I'm going, why do they have Riley Smith and Carrick out there for? I'm like, what's the mindset on this? And all of a sudden he busted down in the 2-on-1. And
But did you hear Laviolette's press conference? Did you
No,
see
I
that
did
one?
not.
He said that he like saw out of the corner of his eye or whatever he said that like whoever the Devils sent out there, he thought it was like the best opportunity. He like the last second he like called Carrick to go out there. But didn't the
Unbelievable.
Devils had Hughes on the ice, so that didn't really make much sense.
I
to
know
me,
it
but-
didn't make any sense to me. I was watching it. No, this I don't. Yeah, it didn't make sense to me.
Well, with
It
no
would be- It
Heedle,
would be weird if you took the credit for that if it wasn't true.
with
But
no Heedle, who's the third center out there? I mean,
I
Carey.
mean, by
Go
then,
back with the
by then
second
the first
center.
got yeah.
Go back with 2 other forwards. I don't know. That wouldn't be my choice realistically, but it was a great call.
It worked
Probably
out. That's why it
surprised
was a
the
great goal.
Yeah,
Worked
probably.
out. It might be
probably
it might be
surprised
the
the
turning
shit out of
point
the
of the
other team.
season. We might be
Carrick's like,
watching that.
what? Me? All right, he goes out there. 2-on-1.
Imagine the other coach.
Selly.
You guys let
Selly was
Carrick
good.
score? Are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
And the
We
selling
didn't
at the
even
end, too.
mention Jack Hughes' turnover, and that was the name, the title of the episode, the graphic
You
on
gotta-
the intro.
You got to go for it then. Do it now.
Do what?
Mention it.
I it was my Quagmire moment. It was
Yeah.
when I saw that, first of all, I celebrated before the goal even went in. Like, he turned the puck over and the play went down the other way. And I was like, please God, let them score this goal. Like, I will be
Yeah.
the happiest. Like, I literally said that out loud. Lindsay was wherever she was coaching or something. And I said it out loud in my apartment by myself. And they put the puck in and I started doing laps around the apartment. I was so excited after that turnover, man.
It's so funny how
great.
nobody knows what you mean by it's your Quagmire moment, and we
I
can't
know.
explain it. I love it. But yeah, that was definitely. I saw your text after that, and I was like, dude, he's so happy right now that happened. And
I'm
it's just like,
wondering,
look, a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are hard on Jack Hughes. You hate Jack Hughes. Yeah, I don't like Jack Hughes. I really don't. I think he's arrogant. I think he's not easy to root for. I mean, I root for players on other teams who are young players that are good, but he's got this like attitude about him that I don't like.
like that,
I can
Chris.
I can acknowledge how great of a player he is.
He's
You
a
know,
punk.
obviously.
We
but
said
he's
it
a
off
punk.
air. He's a punk.
He's a punk, and it's hard. It's hard. It's easy to hate him as an opponent's fan. So you got to be honest in your assessment of his game when you're doing a podcast. But as a fan, yeah, I was really happy that he turned that puck over too. So, yeah, he deserves that. Let him get that feeling. Here and there, bring him down to earth. But
Well, the Rangers did a good job that game of bottling him up when he crossed the blue line. I don't know if that was their strategy, but they all backed up over the blue line on the penalty kills, and he came across, and then they just converged on him. He didn't know what to do. It happened
Yeah.
multiple times, so I don't know what the situation was.
Interesting.
And
Yeah,
it was
I think
similar
so.
play- it was similar play in that overtime. He kind of like was looking up, and he went to make a play, and they just like converged on him, and then they took off. Where was he on the
Yeah.
back check? I'd like to see that. I got to watch that replay.
well, he just turned it over. I mean,
He's fast enough to catch them.
I don't know. That's tough to blame him on that. But anyway, all
I
right,
want
Coach.
to see it. I want to watch it.
It's your
I'm gonna watch
It's your doghouse. Last week you had Panarin and Lafreniere in the doghouse. We all did actually. Let's hear your doghouse this week. Who you got?
You're not putting the graphic up?
This is the graphic.
That is the graphic.
Oh, I thought
You gotta
it
do
was
the
with
bark.
dog.
You
Yeah,
want
the
to play it
bark.
again?
That's-
And
Yeah,
this
well-
doghouse is sponsored by Suter Sweet Treats. Check them out on Instagram. Suter Sweet Treats, Etsy, double sweets and gifts. Use discount code EDPOD. Get 10% off your free doghouse cookie. I got to send little Ed some pictures of the gender reveal cookies that Suter Sweet Treats
Yes, you do.
sent me. I ordered them. She as usual wanted to take care of me, and I said no, I'm paying for these, and we're getting this order in, and they were amazing. They were great. My wife had like a little theme. I ate them all, which is why I'm not showing you one right now. But my wife wanted like a little theme of like adventure, so there was like little hot air balloons and teddy bears and stuff like that. It was really nice. So I'll send you some of that. You can post it, but they're amazing, and their cookies are so good, man. I
You
usually
didn't save
like,
us
don't.
you didn't save us any cookies?
No, I usually don't even eat them because I like them so much and I want to keep them. But I ate these. They were so
You
good.
didn't save one cookie as a memento
You didn't
for your
save one
gender
cookie.
reveal party?
No, I ate all the cookies
Wow,
that were
wow.
left over. I took pictures. That's the memory.
Cousin Ed's gonna have shrunken shirts. He's gonna have to size up too.
Coach Ed needs to size up. Look
right,
at
what do we
that
got?
shirt. Come on.
Boy, it's amazing how someone's actually paying attention to the stuff we say.
Yeah, I love it. Coach, what do you got in your doghouse this week?
I don't know. I mean, can we put Keandre in for that one play? I mean, I think he's been playing well, so I'm going to leave the doghouse empty.
You
I
said
did this-
before you weren't gonna do it, so
Yeah, I'm not going to put. I'm just saying that's the question that I was toying.
I did the
with.
same. I like the way the
Yeah.
team's playing these 3 games.
The team's
Coach.
playing
I
on
was-
all cylinders right now. Got to give him credit.
keeping it empty. Positive episode from the boys.
Yeah, we complained a lot for a positive episode, I will say.
Yeah, Chris might have something else to say.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're like, oh, Kreider sucks. Give him a D. And then Chris is like, give him an F. So here we are being positive. All right, let's take
empty doghouse.
let's jump over to Mikey P for the Rangers Ed 150. Get a little fantasy hockey update as he tries to rip me off in trades.
Give me 1 second.
Welcome back to the Rangers Ed Fantasy Hockey 150. Jumping right into some news, Ascend signed Ridley Gregg to a 4-year contract extension that will keep him in Ascend's uniform through the 28-29 season. 22-year-old had a career-high 26 points last season, and through 37 games this season has put up 6 goals and 6 assists. Elias Pettersson and Thatcher Demko both returned to action for the Canucks on Friday against Carolina, which was an unfortunate 2-0 loss. And Val Nichushkin has been upgraded from out to day for the Colorado Avalanche, so fantasy owners could be seeing him back in their lineups as early as this week. Finally, Wild stud blue liner Brock Faber left last week's game against the Blues with an upper body injury and hasn't played since, but he could be back in the Wild lineup as early as this Wednesday when the Wild face off against the Edmonton Oilers. On to the waiver wire pickups for this week. First off, we have Adam Fantilli of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Fantilli is a pure center in the positional listings and is owned in only 18% of Yahoo Fantasy leagues. He's currently playing first line center and first power play for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and in his last 5 games, he's put up 3 goals and 3 assists. Second on the list, we got Morgan Geekie of the Boston Bruins. Geeks is a fantasy hockey multi-tool with the rare center, left wing, right wing positional listing, and he's owned in only 5% of Yahoo Fantasy leagues. He's currently playing first line, center and second line power play for the Boston Bruins. He had a brutal start to the regular season, but he has found his footing in that Boston lineup. And on top of his already fantastic depth category coverage, he is giving us intermittent scoring. So in depth leagues, deep leagues, he could be worth a look. Last on the list, and not to add salt to the wound there, Rangers fans, but we have Kaapo Kakko of the Seattle Kraken. Kakko put up 7 points in his last 7 games and is currently only owned in 10% of Yahoo Fantasy leagues. He's playing first lines and second power play for the Kraken, and his first taste of top 6 minutes could be a serious payoff for fantasy owners if they're willing to take a risk. Finally, we got to shout out some outstanding performances from last week, starting off with Jordan Staal of the Carolina Hurricanes. In 3 games last week, Staal put up 5 goals, including a hat trick with 1 coming shorthanded in the Canes' 6-3 rout of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Staal has always been a good depth category player, but when he adds scoring on top of that, he is a fantastic and viable fantasy option. Second on the list is Vinny Trocheck of your New York Rangers. Trocheck put up 3 goals and 2 assists in 3 games last week, with 3 of those points coming on the power play. And much like Staal, Trocheck has depth category coverage of faceoff, shots, hits, and blocks. And when his scoring is on, he is a great fantasy option. Third and final shout out goes to Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets. Hellebuyck started 2 of 3 games the Jets played last week, shutting out the Avs on Saturday night and surrendering only 2 goals in 28 shots against the Preds in the Jets' 5-2 victory on Tuesday night. Hellebuck is once again a top Vezina candidate, and any goalie that shuts out the Avs with all the weapons that team has up front deserves a tip of the cap. Lots of great hockey coming up this week, folks, so make sure to tune in next week for more fantasy hockey news, updates, and insights. And until then, this has been your 150.
He is obsessed with Morgan Geekie. I gotta say, like, do you see his tweets about Morgan Geekie? It's so funny. He did the same thing last year with Zaka and Coyle. But yeah, Morgan Geekie's playing well. All right, shout out to Mikey150. Let's look at the Rangers' upcoming schedule, sponsored by Sorrento's of Long Beach. Make sure you get your order in for these games. We got some big ones coming up on the road, Colorado and Utah. And then it gets interesting. Columbus, Montreal, Ottawa, and Philly. Coach, I'm looking at the standings. This could be a really big stretch of games for the Rangers. Columbus right now currently sits 8th in the East in the second wildcard spot, 46 points. Montreal, 44 points. Ottawa, 45 points. Philly, 41, and the Rangers sit at 42. So they can win all four of those games or go 3-1 or 3-0-1 or something. That could be a pretty big swing in the standings for the Rangers as they try to snag that second or a wild card spot. So we'll see, but we'll have the 4 games for you next Monday on the 20th. We'll be back with the Colorado, Utah, Columbus, and Montreal games. Love that music. Beautiful.
Yeah, I got to get over there. I haven't been to Sorrento's in a couple of weeks.
It's okay, Coach. Jeez. This is why you got to size up the shirt. Little Ed's on mute.
Yeah, exactly. No disrespect. I'm just trying to avoid it a little.
I know. We got to get back over there for sure. Maybe this weekend.
I'm sure they got healthy options, though, right? You can get a salad or something.
He's got to stay away from the carbs, and they make their pasta
Carbs
homemade.
are the enemy.
Yeah, you can get some nice chicken parm. They got all the steak dinners, which is good. Good.
No, you can eat carbs. I don't know. I eat a lot of carbs.
You got to everything in moderation.
I had a big plate of rigatoni tonight. It was delicious.
And plus,
It was
they
good.
make their pastas like fresh. I don't know if they make it homemade, but they definitely import it. They have all the homemade pastas like for sale in the deli area. But like after you eat their pasta and even the pizza dough, like you don't feel like that bloated, like I'm
No.
so full. I'm so full feeling, you know. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
definitely fresh ingredients, and they're definitely making their dough from scratch and all that good stuff.
Where they still open?
They ran
Coach,
out of
you know,
pizza hours ago, Coach.
I'm really looking at these games, guys. Like, you know, I'm looking at these games. These are important games coming up. The Bruins, let's just look at the standings quickly. The Bruins sit at 45 games played with 47 points. They're in the first wildcard spot. Columbus, 43 games with 46 points. Then all the way down the list, down to Buffalo, 37 points. Not a single team in the Eastern Conference is like out. You know, there's not a single team in the East that is out. So these head-to-head matchups between, you know, the 10 bottom feeders vying for those 2 spots are really important. Every time Detroit plays Ottawa, Philly plays Pittsburgh, Montreal plays Buffalo, whatever. All those games are important games. So the Rangers got 4 in a row where I really want to see them make a statement. And, you know, I look at these teams and honestly, what is the key difference between the Rangers and these other teams that makes me think they can actually make a run and get excited about this season? It's Igor Shesterkin. I mean, he needs to win those games. I don't care how the team plays. Those 4 games, little Igor Shesterkin. You like hate Igor Shesterkin.
I don't
It's going to
hate
become
him.
a meme. I'm going to make this into a meme how much you hate Igor Shesterkin.
I don't hate anyone on the Rangers except for maybe Keandre. But
did you see he cut his hair and changed the blonde?
he cut
Did
it.
you see that? Yeah, he took the blonde out of his hair after his injury. He came back
Maybe
without the dyed hair.
Maybe another turning point. We
I
got
did notice
to
that
write
his
down all
helmet
these
fits
turning
better.
points. Carrick's goal, Keandre's haircut.
I don't know if he cut it, but he took the blonde out, I think,
Yeah.
at least.
Well, I don't know. It's not nothing against Shesterkin. It's just I know there was a guy one day or back in the day that would step up in those games no matter what. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if he wants to be
Oh,
mentioned in the same breath as that guy, then he's got to, come through even when the team doesn't perform well.
I think I'm going to agree with you to the degree that if the Rangers are playing the way they did the last 4 or 5 games, he needs to be the difference that brings him over the hump.
Right.
They don't need him to carry the game, but they need him to make some big saves, which he's been doing.
Yeah.
He's been making some big saves in these games, which a number one goal he should be making, and keeping it tight and then letting them giving them the chance to win, which they have been doing well. So.
Yeah, and I agree with Chris. I think the Rangers have the best roster of these 10 teams vying for that playoff spot. The math, as Steve Valiquette likes to say, the math is getting short or whatever his phrase is. So now's the time, to take that leap and go on they're 4-1-1 in their last 6 games. You got 2 more on the road here. You'd like them to at least split those games. And then you got 4 battles against wild card contenders. So sweep them. Sweep those 4 games, Let's make a run here. And
PK and Mess said it last week. They got the core of guys. They have the team. They got to turn it around. And that's what they seem to be doing as of right now. Let's see if it continues.
Yeah, and Chris makes the point. Look at the regulation wins as well. Sorry, Little Ed. He makes the point. Look at the regulation wins. Of all those teams, the 10 vying for the wild card, the Rangers have 19 regulation wins. The next highest is 16, right? That's a big difference, and that's the tiebreaker for that spot, So the Rangers are hurt a little bit by their lack of the loser point. I was texting actually PJ about this. Their stretch they went 4-15 in. If they went 4-11-4 instead of 4-15, they're right there, or 4 or whatever it is. So just the lack of getting to overtime has hurt them. They've only have 2 overtime losses on the season.
It's what we talked about, their lack of the ability to come back.
Yeah, they have only 3 overtime games the entire season, 2 of them in this stretch here that we just covered, which is crazy. So if they could have just gotten overtime a few times and stole a few points, it'd be a different conversation. But I think by the time we get through,
that just shows how bad they were playing.
Yeah, they're really bad, blown out, right? In a lot of those games, it was hard to watch. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to come out now on a limb and say by the time the Rangers finish that Philly game on the 23rd of this month, when that game is over, the Rangers will be within a point at minimum of a wild card spot. I'm going to say that. They're going to be right there. We'll say within a point. I'm going to cover myself. I'm going to hedge on saying
that's not a bold statement. They're all beatable teams. It's not like you said that last week.
Well, they lost to Nashville. They lost to Chicago.
You did predict they were going to beat the Devils, which I didn't think was going to happen. But
I said 2-0-1. I was wrong about which games would be the overtime loss and the win, but
yeah,
I got that. All right, let's be positive. They're going to push here. This is a big stretch. Let's go Rangers. Boys, good episode next week. Thank you to our sponsors again for making this podcast possible. Thank you to the listeners for coming with us every week, especially our loyal ones. And for those of you that are new, thanks for chiming in. Last words, Little Ed?
Let's go Rangers. Positivity. I'm looking forward to I look forward to watching the games again. I'll say that. So let's keep it going.
Exactly.
Let's keep it going. And the podcast has been more fun and all that good stuff.
So it's my wife's birthday on the 16th, and they play Utah. So how am I going to watch that game? I need some help. So send some ideas. Tweet them or
you didn't trick her into a Valentine's Day trip to Utah this year or something.
I'll tell you how you're going to watch the game. Grow a pair.
It's her birthday. Jeez,
so
she's pregnant.
Is she 5 years old?
I don't know.
It's a birthday, all right.
I'm gonna tell her you said that. I'm gonna tell her you said that, Coach. All right, guys.
Problem.
I'll let you know. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Have a good night.